Okay.
We'll see you in the conference, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But it's only you submitting me, submitting. Worry.
Hello, everyone. You're welcome. Let's just give a few minutes for people to join in. I wish we had opened the portal long before now, but we'll just have people join in. Secondly, because we put the registration thing, um, a lot of people didn't realize that they would have to come register and then go to their email and do all of that, but we had to do it because if you've been in our meeting, they send people to come and hack us. So a lot of people were not going to join the meeting if they didn't see us do some needful things, if we didn't put our house in order. So thanks to the IT team who made sure that we had this portal very secured. So just bear with us a little bit. We may have to even wait up to 10 minutes, please.
No
Thank
problem. Thank you.
you. Yeah. Um, Maybe if we see Maxwell, let's know. If not,
Yeah,
then we're gonna just do with whatever you and I will just.
yeah, it's okay. And
Guys,
if
we
we,
sent out invite to a lot of people who were hoping that a lot of
I'm
people.
seeing Aisha Yesufu here,
Okay,
by the
good.
way.
Thank you very much. We invited a lot of folks on ground in Nigeria who have been very active in this project, and we wanted them to be able to tell us what is happening on ground, because we in the diaspora, we we base what we do here from what we see online and what people tell us. But you when you communicate with the people back home, you get to hear from them directly. So I really thank everybody who was invited from Nigeria and they were able to make it. Now, we also asked that please, if you know anybody who was in one way or the other directly involved in this project, that you should please send out invite to them. And if you did, just so that we don't miss anybody. If you know, if you invited anybody and they are here signing in from Nigeria, please kindly let us know and we will give them an opportunity to speak. We're not going to keep them long. It is 12 a.m. in Nigeria, 12 a.m. So if you see anybody here, they are awake at 12 a.m. in Nigeria because of the passion they have for what is going on. So please, let's just hang on a few minutes. Yeah, if you're just coming in, thank you so much. We're going to be starting shortly. The camera is not even. Try to. Okay, good. So we're going to be starting in. I have 50 something people who actually registered, but I know the rest would, at the point of trying to log in, they will realize that they have to register. So I'm sure they're going through that registration process. Then they have to go to
Yeah.
their
Yeah, but
email.
the registration is pretty easy.
Right. Yeah.
It's instant approval, so it should be fine.
Yeah. Yeah. You know now, our people don't like that registration thing.
Well, that's security. We have to.
Yes, we have to. The last time it was not funny. It was not funny. They brought some people here dancing naked, and that guy was cussing us off, and we couldn't get him off our back. Oh my goodness. I wish people will be here. Oh, I will start.
Good evening, everyone. We have over 900 people. I'm expecting more people to join.
Yes, 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 yes. Hopefully they will all
Yeah,
join.
I'm just posting now. I think A already posted that you need to register, but I'm just explaining now. So that once you register, it approve instantly and send you an email.
Mm.
You click on the email to join.
Yes.
Just some more clarification for people.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So our agenda for the meeting is not complicated. It's not too much. It's very, very simple. Today, we just want to know the way forward. You know, we would listen to people a few people are going to speak to us. As they come in, we'll give them a chance to talk. But basically, we want to hear the situation back home because the reason why we exist is to support the people back home. We call ourselves the last line of defense when this whole protest started. And so we're saying that we will support the people back home. We will keep the morale high, on their behalf. And
Yeah.
should anything happen to try to demoralize them, we will be the backup that everybody's going to fall back on.
Yeah.
So
Just a quick one, sir.
go ahead.
Again, I'm seeing Aisha Yesufu here. It's very important that she
We
come
just
to the top
no, we want.
of
Don't
the
worry,
agenda
don't
to
worry.
ginger
No, no,
us. I don't
no.
know where
Hold
she
on,
is, if
Eddie,
it's
Eddie, you're
UK.
letting the no. There's a
Oh,
reason.
oh, oh, I'm sorry. Okay, okay, okay. So no problem.
I know, I know.
Okay, okay, I'm sorry.
Yes, guys, please. Let's just bring as many people as possible here. So because we said we are the last line of defense, that's why we contacted a lot of people that are back home, who are in the, in the middle of the action. Not just, it wasn't just the barricade this time around. These guys were in the war front. Anytime we go out to protest, we say, okay, we're going to the barricades. But this time around, these guys were in the middle of that war front. Okay. So those are the ones that I wanted to talk to. Anyway, I said we're gonna start in 10 minutes after 9. It's 10 minutes past 9, so we're gonna start anyways.
Quick one. Ground rule. I don't know if doctor remembers the ground rule. Aside from the special guest that the Dr. Chidi will just shoot up the queue. When it's time for taking suggestion, the ground rule will be to raise your hand using the app, and then you will be called. I guess Dr. Chidi will handle that.
Yeah,
Except,
Maxwell was gonna do that for us, but Maxwell is I haven't seen Maxwell
if you
yet.
want me to handle that, I can.
Yeah, no problem, no problem.
So yeah.
Okay. Like we always do, we assign roles based on who is available. So we try to be as democratic as possible. And we've always run on the mantra that nobody is president, nobody is, we're all equal here, and we take
Yeah.
everybody's contribution.
Oh,
So
I see Olalekon here. Olalekon Taiwo is muted. I don't know if you want to help. Are you on a computer or on a phone? We can actually appoint you as our timekeeper. What will happen is whoever wants to speak will raise hand. If you're on a computer, it will be easier than on a phone. Can you speak, Olalekon? Are you happy to take
Yeah,
that role?
I'm on the computer,
Very good.
but I'm not sure if I can take up that because I myself I have contribution to make. So
I know.
if I
Okay,
know,
I'll take that on. No problem. No problem.
okay, thank
I'll
you.
add it to my writings. Okay, no problem. We just, like doctor said, we want to. It's anybody can take on the role. So I'll take on the role. Um, After Doc opens the floor, uh, whoever wants to speak, please raise up your hand. Use the raise hand button, and we will follow that. Thanks, Doc. I'm done.
okay, thank you. All right, so like I was saying, ladies and gentlemen, what we're here is to be the backup for the people back home. And so today, basically, we're gonna be, we know where we're coming from, so no need to begin to go through that, but just for the benefit of the people that are here, we'll let you know briefly where we're coming from, and then tell you where we want to go. But in trying to determine where we want to go, we want to hear from you guys what is happening back home and where you think we should be going. That's why we invited you. So, like I previously said, my name is Dr. Chidi Wanyanwu. I and a couple of people thought it wise to come together on a WhatsApp group and plan for a protest downtown. Other protests had happened before then. They happened in little clusters here and there on different days. And we just felt that Canada wasn't getting the kind of visibility it was getting in terms of this protest. So there was need to have a massive protest that will be Canada-wide. And so we just started adding people to that WhatsApp group. And then people invited people, and people invited people from all over Canada. And we eventually put a date that will be the same for every city in Canada. Some people were not able to do theirs that day, and they did theirs on Sunday, but we had one flyer, one theme, and we did do that, that protest. Now, going forward, that's what we've always tried to do. After the protest, we had a night vigil, and then we had another protest last Saturday. Now, of course, we were watching the happenings in Nigeria and following up with what was happening in Nigeria. And so right now, we are also still watching what is happening in Nigeria and are full of ideas about what to do. But we feel it is necessary to use this time to relate with people back home and find out from them what they think we should be doing, because they are right in the middle of the action. So we invited some people who we have seen to be active in that group. There was a list of people that we had invited. Some are able to make it. Some were not invited by me. So please, if you did invite someone, could you type it in the chat just so we know anybody that is there? And for you guys to know, it is 2 a.m. in Nigeria. So if anybody has been invited from Nigeria, we're going to give them a chance to first of all speak to us before any other person that is joining from Canada. And on that note, I want to appreciate and recognize the presence in our midst of Madam Aisha Yesufu. We all know that Aisha Yesufu was very active in this project. So please, Aisha, I think you can let me make sure that your mic. Abby, you know what? I think let me hand this over to you so that
Okay.
you can do the thing. Let me hand over the. Just give me 1 second. Um, mm, okay. So I've made you the host now, Ebenezer.
Okay.
Please go ahead and open the mic for Madam Aisha Yesufu,
Okay.
and let's hear from her.
Yeah, I think she's
Can you make it possible for her to? Okay, her mic is not on.
yeah.
Her mic is not on. Maybe the connection is a little bit not too strong.
Yeah.
But Aisha, if you can hear us, maybe you may need to, I don't know, maybe log out and log back in.
Yeah. Let me see if I can send her a private message.
Please, is there any of our invited guests who is around? You may be on a name that we are not familiar with. Just type in the chat so that we can give you a chance to talk. Guys, I know we asked that we invite people, if you know that someone had called and said, Kemi, if you're here, you had invited someone from the feminist group. What's their name again?
Adetong, she's actually not. I think maybe she's asleep. I've been trying to chat with her.
Okay, okay,
She's not here.
okay, okay. Thank you, Kemi. So please, I know it's very difficult. The timing is very funny. But
Yeah, I sent a private message to Miss Yesufu.
okay.
I don't know if she gets it or not. Her mic is.
She's still on and her mic is not working, right?
Yeah. Mm. More people are joining. We have 40 people now. I'm just admitting more people in who were in the lobby. Should we in the
Frank Saya
yeah,
Isijola.
yes.
Yeah. Is
That's the man from Ottawa I told you about. And
okay,
he
you can
has
go ahead while we're
yeah,
trying to sort out with Aisha.
yes,
Frank,
he has a hard stop at 9:30. He has to go to work, so it's okay for him to speak. Thanks. Frank, go ahead, please.
Okay. Hi, everyone. So it's good to be here and to meet other people of same goals, working towards the same objective. So I just want to give a bit of information with regards to the international community, how they can help to wade into this crisis back home and precisely Canada. So at the moment, over the past few days, I made contact with a House committee, that's the Standing Committee on Foreign Affairs and Development, and they also have a subcommittee on international human rights. So they are particularly interested in the situation in Nigeria at the moment with regards to NSAS, and they would like us as a community, if we are willing, to submit a proposal or a brief to show that these are the issues, um, these are the things that are presently happening, what evidence do we have, so that they could deliberate that in their next meeting. So what the subcommittee does essentially is they they view international they view concerns internationally and try to speak up as a voice to ensure that those countries with poor human rights records or incidents are brought into account. They are made accountable, and this could be by lobbying, by dialogue, or even sanctions, as it may be. A typical case is the China Uyghur Muslims. In fact, recently they had a meeting on that. So um, essentially, they want us to see if we can submit a proposal, and they may call in for witnesses, testimonies. But the main thing is, if we can submit a brief, they'll be able to deliberate upon it in the coming weeks. Um, so that's it. And if we are interested, they want us to be able to submit the brief very soon, because they have to translate it and be able to present it at the next House of Commons meeting. So that's it from me.
when is the next House of Commons meeting?
Um, I'm not exactly sure, but Nigeria is actually, they have a number of countries they want to deliberate on, but Nigeria is actually at the top of the list. I believe that in the next, I'm guessing the next 2 to 3 weeks. I'm not sure, but I can get back on that.
Okay, so what I'll just ask, I mean, that's how we do things here. If you're interested in working with Frank, please just leave your name on the chat, and Frank, just check the chat, and please work with anybody who is interested in scripting that letter. We already have a group that was drafting letters for us. So Abby, you can also direct Frank to that group. and I think it's something that we can
Yeah.
do. Blessing
Yeah.
is already there too.
Yep. Yeah, Frank has had a one-on-one with me on Telegram, and I think I will want to drag Edosa into this after now, and we'll follow up with that. Thanks, Frank.
Thank you.
Okay, now the people in Ottawa, I mean, you guys are going to depend on you for this, for the physical evidence. I guess you guys, we can all collectively decide that this is what we're going to use as evidence, and then you guys can go there and do the presentation. We have video, we
Yeah.
have other kinds of evidence. We're still having problem with Madam Aisha Yesufu. Madam Aisha Yesufu, if you can hear us, your mic is not on. And if you could maybe log out and log back in, maybe that will solve the problem. I was on another Zoom meeting this afternoon, and this kind of thing happened, and someone logged out and logged in, and it was fixed. I think at this point in time, we can, if you want to say something, especially those of you that were invited that are joining us from Nigeria, we can take your presentation while we continue. But if there's another person who wants to say something, you can raise up your hand, like Ebenezer told us before.
Yeah, but a quick one. On the list, just like I said, there are some notified people who had notified, who wants to just make an overview, which I think is important. Edosa is here. I would like to take her, and please, after her, please just use the hand raise button, since Doctor has opened the floor, and we will interrupt if we find any of our Nigerian invitee as we go. Edosa, can you give an overview of
good
things?
evening. Thank you, Effie. Good evening, everybody. I would say good evening, my brothers and sisters. And that's how I see everybody here. Very quickly, my name is Edosa. I wanted to say a few things. First of all, I wanted to concur with Amaka M. Amaka had raised on the Telegram platform what her plan is in terms of how she is going about creating an impact in terms of audience. And I think Amaka is right with respect to what she said, that we don't need lawyers to really advocate for the interest that affects all of us. She's very right. However, I think the only reason that lawyers come into play in this situation that we are dealing with is in terms of procedure and process. And that goes to what my previous brothers spoke about, the House Committee rules. Two things I wanted to mention is, so I give it to Amaka that she's right. So we all need to be actively involved in the process. But two things that I wanted to address is what is the nature of petitions? Because since the protests, we've been having petitions flying all around and everybody has been signing, and people have asked, what's this whole petition? And so as a lawyer, I like to always ask questions. I don't know everything. I like to find out information directly from the source. And so I called some MPs and I asked them about the effect of the petitions that is going on, and I tried to educate them on what's going on. And my understanding from the petitions is we need to have a policy statement, meaning we need to have a statement that identifies what our petition really is and what the issue is. Once we have that statement drafted, my proposal is every province that is where the working groups will have the same statement. And then one of the suggestions I think in the past was keep sending petitions to your MP. The effect of that is not as strong What will be stronger in terms of the petition is if you have like 200 people sign that petition, live signatures, 200 people sign it, 200 Nigerians in Brampton sign it, 200 Nigerians in Oakville sign it, 200. So once you have a group of persons that sign the petition and you present it to your MP, it's now left for that MP to raise that issue up in the floor. That is where the issue is. And it happens in all other legal environment. When I mean legal, even the House of Commons, they have to raise it on the floor. Even in the UN, it has to be raised on the floor. When you raise it on the floor, you're bringing it to the podium for discussion. And then you're emphasizing the importance of this petition because a group of the constituents from that locality had presented it. So my thought process is, if we have a petition from all of these, our groups, signed by 40, 50 people, 100 people, and each of them presented to the MP, we now need a lobbyist group. That's the second part of my proposal. We need a lobbyist group because you can put a petition to your MP. Your MP has a laundry list of things that he is working with. But the lobbyist group now would be contacts that would now be writing. This is all in writing because people work more efficiently when it's in writing, especially government officials, because you're putting them on notice. The lobbyist group now will be connecting with the MP's offices to find out what's the status of the petition signed by 50 constituents in his region. And so that has more power and that has more effect because once that petition goes to the floor, the next thing is to call a meeting with the Foreign Minister of Canada. And so you're already gaining momentum for international and media coverage once you gain. And then, like I said, that's why lobbyist group is important because that group, when I mean lobbyist group, a group of us, whoever is interested, will be the agents to propagate this issue and keep it going on in terms of periodical updates. So those are the two things I wanted to raise. Petitions are important, but it has a more effective role if it's signed by a collective group of people. The other thing I wanted to raise is with the UN issue. The UN issue is an ongoing process. And I say that because there's two different categories of the UN. And one of the category requires you to exhaust all the internal measures. Some of you listened to Arise News yesterday. Some human rights lawyers in Nigeria have made a disclosure request to the governor of Lagos State. And that's the appropriate channel to find out, number one, because I listened to it, to find out, number one, whether what they call it, when they were protesting, then they now had to call it a curfew, whether the curfew was properly passed. So he enumerated, this is a lawyer, he's a human rights lawyer, he enumerated a list of things that he has asked the government under the Privacy Act of Nigeria. That is an ongoing process that the UN is watching as well, because you have to exhaust all the internal levels to show that I have gone to this process, I've asked for disclosure, I have gone to court. I'm sure some human rights lawyers are filing petitions in court or applications in court for the massacre that happened. So that's an internal process that is going on. And it's important for that process to really go through all of the procedure in the hierarchy of the court in Nigeria. Of course, it's going to be blocked. But the second part of the UN is called, the second part of the UN process, based on my understanding, because I got somebody who works there to kind of explain it to me so I understand, is whereby you file a petition, a complaint. Now, this doesn't necessarily need to go through any process, but that complaint must have factual evidence. Lawyers don't win cases, facts win cases. So the factual evidence is live testimony, live stories about what really happened. And it's put in a compendium whereby it goes to the complaint department. That department is a hierarchy of experts that will review it, experts that will now put it again on the floor. So putting, voicing on the floor now takes it to the level of pressure on Nigeria. Now, you know that Nigeria understands all this process, and that's why they are setting judicial inquiry and all this, because they know that doing certain judicial inquiry and all this process, gives impression that they're serious about addressing what happened on October 20th. But it's all a fallacy, because all that one is just talk and no do. They won't. So they're doing all those because they're trying to show reasonable costs. What the UN is seeking is, the words that I remember legal is gross pattern of systematic abuse, which we know we can show. But Nigeria now is going through a process where they're showing to the international community that we are also investigating and playing a role by having these judicial meetings and having this inquiry set up and all that. It's all a facade. It's not, that's just story. At the end of the day, people died. At the end of the day, we have victims. So my thought process is, we have this policy statement whereby we have petitions sent out. The petition should be signed by, everybody should get as many people as you can in your community. Sign it and put it in. That petition would have the same mission statement with every other petition that we are sending out, so that we're speaking one voice at all times. Then the lobbyist group is so strategic, because there's a lot of things the lobbyist group will do. And it's, I don't want to take all the time, but
Edosa,
I guess, yes.
Edosa, sorry, please. I just want to cut you in, because we were supposed to do this petition after the talk. That's the place that we're really going to need you. So I want you, if you don't mind, just stand by a little bit. Let's give Aisha an opportunity, because it's 2:35 a.m. in Nigeria. Let her speak and excuse herself, and then we'll come back to you. There's also Ajoke, who did a petition. Ajoke is on, she will talk. And then there's another petition that we got a counselor and a lobby group to help us draft. We will all take that at the same time. But Madam Aisha Yesufu, she's back with a mic. If you can unmute yourself, Aisha, or Abby, help us conduct that. Let's have Aisha take the floor.
Yep. She should be good. She can unmute herself.
Okay.
Hello, good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Aisha.
Good morning. So I know, yeah, it's 2 a.m. over here and everything, but I'm quite good. I think I would like to listen so that I understand more of which angle you are coming from. Then I'll comment later if that's okay.
Okay, but okay, before we do that, we just wanted, yeah, we wanted to get a feel from you where the protest is at in Nigeria, and how the direction you would want us to take. You know, that's really what we wanted you to help guide us, because all we do is based on what we see. Like, we see you guys out there, we see that you're iconic picture. We saw you in the middle of the tear gas. You know, we feel it here, but you felt it directly. You know, we wanted to, and all of a sudden, I mean, we saw the shooting in Lekki. We all went through the trauma here. We can imagine what you went through, and we don't know. There's so much out there that the government is saying. Of course, we know there's a lot of propaganda. We don't know. We want to continue to protest. We want to continue doing petitions. We want to continue raising money. We want to do all kinds of things. But we're just feeling like, if we hear from somebody, from you guys who were out there, we felt it will help to direct us more, or even, you know, advise us. We have other things that we think we should be doing, but we just believe hearing from you guys will help to direct us properly.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. Just give me a moment, please.
Okay. By the way, we had sent out invitation to Files. You guys know Files, the bad guy. We sent to Omoyele Shore. We sent to Deja Deanju. We sent to the NSAS group. We sent to the feminist group. Okay, actually, Kemi had someone that was invited from the feminist group, and she had said she would be on, but I don't think she realized it was going to be 2 a.m. So we're not able to get to her. Someone was supposed to also get in touch with Femi Falana San, and DJ Switch. And well, I think it was so impromptu. You guys know we started all this morning, so it's understandable if we're not able to get to all of these people. So we are really very fortunate to have Madam Aisha stay up late to be able
Okay.
to address us. So we're really very grateful, Aisha.
Okay. Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning,
So,
Aisha. Most
first
people
of
are
all, I would
muted,
just
so
say,
you won't hear them.
oh yeah, okay, I did get that.
We are nice
So
here.
first of
Good
all, I just
night.
want to say that thank you very much, everyone, for caring and focusing on the issues that are happening in Nigeria. And I must say that, especially Nigerians in diaspora, you guys, you've really done well on this one, and the government knows that indeed it's no longer business as usual. It's really, whether we like it or not, at the end of the day, we need all of us together. We have a nation that is governed by people who are actually brutal. And I think for the first time, a good number of people have been forced to pay attention to what is happening. Even though the brutality didn't start now, the brutality has been going on. The biggest problem that we seem to have, especially, is that when these things happen, some people just really don't pay attention. So the protest started in a way that we haven't seen it in a very long while. And like a friend of mine did put out, Flores also, she said, this whole protest is a protest of survival. And so people were able to come together. It's not a protest of empathy that you normally see, okay, something has happened to someone somewhere, and okay, I feel the empathy. But this was more of survivor. A lot of people had stories to tell. There were a lot of victims. Some people were victims many times over. Some people, even when they are not directly victims, they have had family members who have had all of these experiences. And so Nigerians came out knowing fully well that, look, we're being killed under the cover of darkness, and let's come out and make demands on our government and say, please stop killing us. Tell these security agents to stop killing us. And what did they get? They were actually killed in broad daylight. And so that has been like a kind of shock. And especially for those who have never really paid attention, because Nigerian soldiers killing citizens did not start today. We also what happened December, even in recent time, December 2015, when over 700 Shiite members were killed. And even though the government, the official figure is about 300 or something, but that's large. We've watched over time when soldiers have killed Shiites that are marching, police have killed them. We've seen IPOB members being killed by soldiers, by police, and people don't pay attention. People seem to think, oh, okay, it's either, oh, okay, I don't like them, or one thing or the other, or I don't like the Shiites, I don't like any of this. And so all of this, have kept on going, but people didn't pay attention. The NSAS movement and protest was able to unite a whole lot of people, because people actually felt their high-handedness, and it's so heinous, the number of stories that are coming out right now. And you see how people, the atrocities, and you begin to wonder at the culture of silence that really forced a lot of people to not say anything amidst all the atrocities that were going on. And it was going quite well, quite, amazing the way young people, especially the youth of Nigeria, were able to come together and able to put aside the divide, the religious divide, the ethnic the divide over economic status, over educational levels, over and just come together and just stand for just one common thing, for that singularity of purpose, and keep making demands. And in a way, it has broken the myth where Nigerians are always being told that we can't unite, we can't do this together, blah blah blah. Nigeria can never be one. I mean, they shattered that. And at the end of the day, and then the brutality and with which they were attacked on that day sort of like did shock quite a number of people. And ironically, that day in the morning, I had over 4 hours meeting with the NSAS protesters in Abuja. And I was saying to them, look, you have to think about everything. Just think of the most evil thing that can ever be done and know that this government will do it, know that the people in power will do it, so that you'll be 10 steps ahead at all time. Because it doesn't make sense to just keep putting yourself just in the line of danger. The military were not sent to Lekki toll gate. That was not the first time that military were sent. No, the first time military were actually sent was when we went to the National Assembly, and they came to attack. And I could see that day that they had come to draw blood, even though some of the youth were like, oh no, they're not going to shoot. I'm like, no, they will. And so it doesn't make sense to just put yourself in harm's way. Whatever it's being done has to be done strategically, has to be done in such a way that, yes, they have the brute force, but you have the intelligence. I'm just trying to give, just so as to give a context and background context to the whole of this. And so when the attack happened, sort of like it shook quite a number of the youth who unfortunately haven't paid attention to the different times that the government have been very high-handed, or that the military have killed people, or where the police have killed people. And so for now, the protests are, of course, they kept coming, even after that, they kept coming out. There were quite a number of protests, even in Lagos and all of that. But we've seen the wave of things that have happened recently with the looting that went on, and people just finding this COVID relief material, palliatives that were hidden from them. And so a lot of people were on the streets, a lot of destruction going on. So you sort of like, that took away all the protests that could have gone on. But before I go, one of the things that I really want to say categorically is that no talks infiltrated the NSAS movement or took over the NSAS protest. No, it was government that brought in talks. And I think that's one very narrative that please people should remember to maintain, because what they're trying to do right now is to turn it in such a way as to say, oh, yes, bad elements took over, how they infiltrated the movement. No, it didn't happen. Government brought in talks using military. We saw all the videos of talks being brought in military vehicles, talks being brought in by police, talks being supervised by what looked like DSS, security operatives, in Prado jeeps, in military vans, in police vans. And these same talks are the one who came in and now, after doing the bidding of the government, attacking protesters, hurting them, destroying their properties, killing some of them, they turned on the government itself. In terms of when it comes to reports have been written severally on the fact that there's going to be a whole lot of unrest after COVID-19. I mean, it happened 100 years ago. Looking at the things, people are angry, people are hungry, people have lost their jobs. So you expect that anything will happen. But because we have a government that doesn't think about the repercussion of any action, that people said the NSAS movement is, there's no leadership. No, they have leadership. They were organized. They were always negotiating. Some people say, oh, why were the NSAS movement protesters on the streets and they didn't come for negotiation? I say, they were negotiating. It's not the normal kind of negotiation that, the traditional kind of negotiation. Everybody comes in, sit down at the table. No, it's a new world now. It's a new order. They were multitasking. They were on the street at the same time. They were also negotiating. That was why they had their five over there. And I said, it's the government that didn't have leadership. It's the Nigerian government, unfortunately, that didn't have leadership. And you could see in every way that it reacted. At the end of the day, what it felt to use was brute force. And they used this brute force on the people. But one of the things that has come out of this is about that there are so many people who are determined. They're determined that this is not going to be the end. I mean, we move. And I just love the way, the energy and the way they say that phrase, we move. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. It's not something that just things will be okay at once. No, but the most important is that people have been awakened. Voices have been awakened, not just within Nigeria, but also outside Nigeria, and that's really important. And so at this moment, because of all the things that have happened around the country, the violence and everything that had been going on, not many people have been on the streets. But there's going to be a meeting in what do you call it now? A Zoom, just like what you're having now. That's today. Today is already Friday, right? Today and tomorrow, and where more of what is the next step? What are the things that are going to be done that will be discussed during that Zoom meeting? It's going to start today in the evening and also tomorrow 1 to 3. I think the links should be out there. And so what is going to happen is that there's going to be this discussion. There's going to be talk on what are the things that need to be done. But most importantly, the panel has already started. But there's a problem. And the problem is the legitimacy of the panel. A good number of people have said that, lawyers have said that, look, these panels do not have legitimacy because the governing council of the National Human Rights Commission has not been constituted. And as long as there's no governing council, that the executive chairman does not have the right, to give legitimacy to form these panels and that we have all across the nation and all of that. And so this has made people a bit wary. We've had this situation whereby panels have been set up before, they've indicted policemen and officers, but at the end of the day, nothing happened. And the people that have been indicted, nothing really has gone on. Good number of them are still in active service and they are being promoted. I think there's one Yusuf Kolo, who is in Abuja right now. He has been indicted several, and nothing has come out of it. So there's that part of people being wary of the panel, but still, so far the panel it's going on. There are quite a number of the youth themselves who are members of this panel and just having guidance. There are lawyers around and all of that. So there's a bit of calm in terms of, not that it has ended, but a bit of calm in terms of the fact that people are waiting for what's that next direction, and they're looking at what the panels would have. While looking at it, there is the 5 for 5 demands. There is also some of the things that were put down on the fact of the implementation, and looking at it to say, okay, if certain things are not implemented, this is what is going to happen. But ironically, SARS are still on the streets. They are still operating. The government had said that they had been disbanded. They need to come back to Abuja for the retraining and everything that is supposed to happen, but it hasn't happened. Even while the protests were actively going on, people had made a lot of assertion to the fact that, look, they're still on the streets. They have shown evidences, but they're still there. And it seems as if, to a very good extent, that the SARS have overpowered their IG and their commander-in-chief. They're not listening. It seems as if they're a unit unto themselves, as if they have gone rogue. We also see a situation whereby the police also, I think in Lagos now and some other places, the feel is there as if they're deliberately looking at the acts that are going on, the violence and everything, in such a way as if to say, oh, you people don't want us to be here. And so you're going to feel the consequences of not having us here. Let whatever mayhem that is going on, let it go on, and we're not going to do anything. So that's also another sense that is going on. But one of the things that have really kept hope alive is the fact that the Nigerians in diaspora are seriously standing up, and they are doing all these protests, even though, yes, here people are not on the streets the way they were before, but we have Nigerians in diaspora who are keeping this on, who are taking how do I put it, who are taking the fight on, and they are able to do it. So it's very important to keep the momentum and the tempo going in terms of the marches, in terms of all the things that need to be done. And I think at this moment we need to bring in every of our A game into this. We need to bring every of the arsenals that we have that we can deploy in terms of is it the International Court, Court of Justice, is it to the UN? Is it to whatever regional bodies? Is it to the MPs over there? Because sadly, our government is listening more to the voices from outside than it does to the voices within. And the effect for them when there's a foreign intervention, even if it's in terms of speaking, in terms of talking on the issues, it affects them more than when it is just from within Nigeria that things are happening. So I think a good number of the effort we really they feel it. They feel it when it comes from out of the country. So in terms of getting the parliaments over there, the national assemblies, whatever it is, it's called in whatever countries the Nigerians are in, getting them to be involved in, especially when it comes to their foreign policies and all of that. Let Nigerian issue be tabled, especially this heinous crime that has happened. And we've seen the gaslighting that has been coming from government. Government has committed this crime. They've killed people in broad daylight. These are things that were witnessed, that were seen live, but yet we have government coming in and with their propaganda trying to say that this didn't happen. This is not the first time. Over 6 years ago, Chibok girls were abducted, but government came out to say that no girl was abducted. And up to today, we have people who hold on to that narrative. And today, here we are again. The same thing is happening all over again. But within the basic field that it's here in Nigeria is the fact that people are saying, look, they're still coming out on the streets. The youth are saying, look, we'll still come out. We're going to watch what the proceedings and that go on. If there's nothing concrete, that they will come back on the streets and in full force. And of course, this time they will not sit back the way that they sat back before, and just the government just put its high-handedness and brought in brute force onto them. So I think basically this is as much as what is happening. But if there's anything that I haven't answered directly, or you feel that I haven't explained it enough, you can go ahead and ask me. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Aisha Yesufu. You are really a source of inspiration for a lot of us in the diaspora. You've been there, and it was a delight to, and also a source of concern when we saw you in Nigeria. I remember it was on October 1st that you did that flash appearance with the Moyele Shore, and everybody was like, wow. And a lot of things have continued to happen. Now, I know there are some people who have questions. I'm gonna let some of us ask, please, very direct questions to Madam Aisha. Remember, it's almost 3 a.m. in Nigeria. So we're gonna.
I have two people who raised their hand already.
Yeah, Abby is going to moderate that, and then when it calls you, just ask the question directly, please, and let's let her go. Thank you.
So I have K Osobo, Osobo. That was the first person that raised it. You can go ahead, K.
Okay, thank you, Eddie and Aisha. I want to appreciate you for being part of this. It's a sacrifice, and we've known you for this for a very long time. God bless you. Like you said, concerning the committee, or what do they call it? Established by each of the governors, most especially the one inaugurated in Lagos. I want to ask you, because I've been trying to ask anybody around me, nobody could provide answer.
One second, K. Are you able to turn on your camera? Because usually our policy is that if you have to speak, it is important that we see who is speaking. If you have to speak or make a contribution,
Okay, okay.
Yeah, it is paramount that because of what happened last time. Thank you very much. And for any
Okay.
other person who is planning to speak, please prepare to come live with your camera. Go ahead, Kay.
Okay, Aisha, do you think this judicial commission established in Lagos will be able to provide answer to the killing of October 20th? Now the government is pushing it to the military. Military is pushing it to the governor. So, and the committee or the judicial committee established, are they empowered to call military to come and testify or to say what they know about their activities on that day? Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I think can we take more of the questions so that I'll write them
so
down,
that
then
you
I'll
can
be
Okay.
able to
ask it.
come and
Yeah,
address
yeah.
them.
Okay. The next person is Shola Agbuola. And then I have, after that, Olale Kontaiwo.
Yeah, thank you very much. And we really appreciate Aisha Yesufu spending the time with us this evening. My question, I'm going to be quite very direct. The question has taken the caption of the youth of Nigeria rising up to the occasion this time around. My question is this: with the situation that we find ourselves now, is there anything that you think we have learned in the way, as unprecedented as this was, it still did not give us the result that we wanted? Is there anything we have learned from the way this protest or this revolution was organized? That's number one. Number two, the so-called anarchists or the people that were destroying, that were doing the violence, they were equally youth. So they have succeeded in using youth against youth. Does that mean that the youth, even though we haven't gotten to that critical mass to understand that? And my last question is, this demonstration was heavily concentrated in Lagos, was quite very phenomenal in Lagos. It is not the same in other parts of the country, except for Abuja, so to speak. So was there anything we learned from that? Does that mean that the people in Lagos were more demanding or more reawakening than the rest of the youth in other parts of Nigeria? That's my question, very direct. Thank you.
The next person, we'll just take like 3 more or 5, so that Aisha can just take them in bullets. The next person will be Olale Kontaiwo.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, and I want to say well done to Madam Aisha. First, I'd like to call everybody's attention to what really happened in Nigeria. I think the killing and the harassment did not only happen in Lagos. So let's also get that into consideration, and not even only in Lekki Tollgate alone. Other parts of Lagos State, it happened, and other states too across Nigeria that happened. Based on my own view before now, my own reflection on everything, and according to what Madam Aisha had rightly said, I'm having a feeling like, which I know myself, like even with the petition and the whatever, I don't see Nigerian politician being accountable for anything they have done. This is not the first time. This is not the second time. This is not the 1 million time it's happening. And I believe on the streets of Nigeria every day, people are still being killed in one way or the other by this same government, either by the police, by the military, by their political thugs. Or
Can you please just ask the question when she's
yeah,
done?
I'm trying to go to the question based on what she said. Yeah, I'm trying to go to her.
We need to let that go. It's almost past.
Olale, don't worry if you shoot the question, but you have additional thing after we let Aisha go. You will have a chance, please.
Okay. These are my questions. Can anybody even the panel or whatever international, can they hold Nigerian government accountable for what has really happened on the honest truth? And secondly, like there's a saying, justice delay is justice deny. I don't know how many years the inquiry will go. Can you tell us? And finally, don't you think we should look into another approach by flushing these people out of the system as a better way of getting justice?
Thanks, Olaleko. In this order, I'm going to take, I have initially Dan Adri. Are you still there? Okay, I'll move to Nedi Izuma.
Yeah. Hi, good evening, everybody. And
good evening. Sorry, and after Nedi, Kasham, please get ready.
We'll stop at a point so that Aisha can attend to the question. Because
okay.
more people will keep.
Yeah, Kasham makes it 5, and that's it for now. Yeah. Go ahead, Nedi.
Hi, good evening, everybody. And I'd like to start by saying thank you very much, Ma, for coming to be a part of this. We really do appreciate that. My question is, so everything that has gone on over the past couple of weeks, we've seen, and we understand that at this point, it might look like the Nigerian government has a headway. I was just wondering what we as the youth or we as the Nigerian people intend to do, like the next best step. I'm not trying to underplay the fact that people have died, and I know I'm in no position to ask anybody to go back on the streets, but I'm thinking, do we have any other actions? Do we have anything in place that we can do, even from the comfort of our homes, to make sure that things get better in Nigeria? That's basically my question.
Okay, so Kasham, after Kasham,
we can take Mariam because it's just one last person. Maybe.
Okay.
I think, yeah.
Hello.
Yes, Kasham, and that will be after that. We will have Aisha to respond. Kasham, please.
Mariam.
Okay, so good evening, everybody.
Oh, Mariam, okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, so it's a pleasure, Aisha, for having you here. My question to you is about the Northern Nigerian youth. Personally, I'm from Northeastern Nigeria, and I'm very worried about the fact that the North has been absolutely quiet about the happenings. And I believe that for this, for the answers to succeed effectively, we need to have all the youths across the country to be on the same page. So why do you think the youths in the North are majority are quiet, and is there any way that we can effectively reason with them and engage them to also see that they come out in the next phases and be part of this movement? Thank you.
Hello? Madam, you can carry on. Yeah, she's there.
Okay.
Aisha,
thank you so much, everyone, for the questions. Thank you so much for your kind words. I see quite a lot in the chat and what people have said also. Thank you, everyone. I'm just going to down good number of the questions that I could get. If I miss any after explaining, after giving my answers, please let me know. I think the first question that was asked was in terms of the October 20th massacre that happened and whether the Lagos State Judiciary, they were going to. Yes, the term of reference has been expanded. The governor did announce that. So the October 20th massacre is going to be part of what the Lagos State panel is going to be taking on. Whether at the end of the day, government will be held accountable are things that we will have to watch and see. And also the most important fact is whether people will have the courage to come and be able to give their testimony and be able to come out and talk about the issue. Because, you know, as it is, the state has a lot of ways of coming after people, of threatening people, said either directly or indirectly. And, you know, a lot of people tend to get afraid and not coming. So, but so far, yes, it's been included in the Lagos State panel. They're going to October 20th is going to be a part of it. Whether they're empowered to call the government, the soldiers, I don't know, but I think they should be able to. But one of the good things that have come out is that there has been a lot of shifting of ground. There has been a lot of blaming going on. So first of all, we saw what happened, and immediately that whole thing happened. Military said that, oh no, it's not their people, unknown soldiers. Anybody could have bought uniform and just be there. They weren't there. But over the time, we've seen shift. Even the Lagos State governor himself was like, oh no, nothing happened, oh, blah, blah, blah. But right now, they have been shifting of ground. He has come to admit in an interview with, I think it was Becky Anderson, that yes, it was soldiers that were there. And soldiers, of course, have come to say that they came out there because the government, Lagos State government had invited them. They were there because they wanted to ensure the compliance with the curfew. But then at the moment that they were killed, 6:50 p.m., that they opened fire on citizens at Lekki toll gate, the curfew itself had not started, had not gone into effect, because it was supposed to be earlier on at 4 p.m. and then it was shifted. So I hope I've answered that particular question. Then comes to the issue of what have we learned from the NSAS protests? And then the subsequent person who asked that question and who said it did not give us what we wanted. So it depends on what we call what we wanted. Yes, directly in terms of officially, the NSAS had been the SARS had been disbanded, even though unofficially it hasn't, because over the years, right from December 2017, there has been a lot of disbandment of SARS. But officially that happened, though there are some other issues that are supposed to come along from it. But I would say we've learned a lot from NSAS. We've learned that Nigerians can come together. We've learned that Nigerians can unify both home and abroad on issues. We've learned, and more people have learned the fact that the Nigerian government is very brutal, and the Nigerian government can kill and maim, although it has been doing that before, but people didn't pay attention because somehow, somewhere, people. Even today, some people are not paying attention. There are people who are still blaming the NSAS protesters rather than blaming the government. We've learned that the Nigerian government is the real purveyor of fake news, misinformation, and that propaganda is one of the things that it does. And I think we've learned that the Nigerian government would go to any length, like I said before, and do anything just to keep itself there. Beyond the Nigerian government, also what they normally call the class of 66, the political leaders that we have that have shown high-handedness over the years, that they're still much active and they're ready to perpetuate themselves in power, irrespective of what it takes to actually do that. We've learned that the Nigerian youth are not as docile as people look at them to be, and that they can come together, they can unite, they can fight for good governance, they can be more politically aware, and they can be awakened. And most importantly, that they have the capacity to manage, to organize, and to do so many things. Looking at the way the protests went, where they had to take care of their welfare, they had to take care of their security, they had to take care of it was almost like a mini government in itself. Because as we go in, like we heard one of the persons who asked the question that talked about the fact that the killings did not only happen at Lekki, there were killings in even that same 20th in other parts of Lagos and also in other places like Kano too. Talks were unleashed, Kano, Abuja, and quite a number of other states also. And after the 20th, in the last, they have been killing. I think there's even a video that is going around of soldiers opening fire on people and killing people even in Abuja. And so the killings also have continued. So I would say there have been a lot of wins. There have been a lot of wins with the NSAS protest. And most importantly, and which we must never take away, is that Nigerians believe now that things are possible. They believe now that they have a voice, they have a say, they can make things happen in the country. And I think we must never take away from that. It's sad, the death that have happened. It's especially when these are avoidable deaths, it hurts the more. But at the same time, we will not allow their sacrifice to go, the ultimate sacrifices that they made to go in vain. And so it's quite important we have that. But there have been a lot of gains that have happened, and most especially, if I may, at the expense of repeating myself, is the fact that people have been awakened, not just the Nigerian youth, but the Nigerian people, to take pride in the people and to know that they can, not that mindset where we felt that, oh, there's nothing that we can ever do. People now know that beyond the people who, beyond the NSAS, the youth who organize the NSAS and all of that, is the fact that it's peeling over to people. So you saw the COVID-19 palliatives and how people were horrified at the fact that we have leaders who could hide noodle, who could hide rice, who could hide milk, who could hide palm oil, groundnut oil, just things that you expect that they needed to give people, even though people were dying of hunger, they could hide this. So there was this awakening across the street. And even if you see on video where people were carrying these things away, there was a sort of like a political awakening where they were like, oh no, we are not going to vote in these people again. These people are so wicked. They have done so and so to us. They kept this thing away from us. They looted the food that was supposed to have been shared. So it's an awakening in itself where people are saying, look, APC, PDP, they are all the same. These political people that we have are all the same. What is it that we can do? So not just beyond the NSAS protesters, but also across. And I think this is something that we have to take on. Then on the question of that they use the youth against the youth, one of the things we have repeatedly said, and which most of us do understand, is the fact that illiteracy has been weaponized in Nigeria. Poverty has also been weaponized in Nigeria. The educational system was deliberately undermined and put in the situation that it is today because some people want to use the youth that to perpetuate themselves in office. So it is to the advantage of a few for there to be a lot of Nigerians who are not literate, for there to be a lot of Nigerians who are poor. In this way, they have the kind of this thing, or should I call it weapon of mass destruction, in a way that they can always deploy. And this is not the first time that youth are being used. They deploy them during elections, and that's the reason why a lot of people don't come out to vote. They ensure that they put fear in people, and so they have only a few people that will come out to vote, people that they can buy their votes, and then they continue to perpetuate themselves in office. And so they've also used this youth during protests. This is not the first time they've used youth during protests, but of course, with this protest, is the first time that a lot of people are paying attention to what is happening and being outraged at what is happening. And so one of the things that have been going on and the discussion that has been happening, a lot of people, is the fact that they're talking of the fact that there is a need to also come to the youth that are being used, that are as dogs and hoodlums that are being used, to be able to also buy them over. Some people have talked about the fact that it could be through education, through just talking to them, awareness creation and all of that. But today, earlier today, okay, that was yesterday. Yesterday, when on my show, part of the things that that was raised was that, look, if the government are going to pay the youth to get this thing done, then it is also time for other people to also pay the youth to not destroy. If they're going to be paid to destroy, there must be a way that we to pay them not to destroy. And these things are like we talked about earlier on in my show that I have, Let's Talk Nigeria People. What some said was the fact that there is quite organization. They have their formation, they have their leadership. And if you want things to happen, it's just to get to these leaders. And I don't know, there's a sound that is coming. Please, can somebody mute? The sound is coming, it's a bit distracting. So it's just to get to also get them and be able to, if it has to do with getting money to help ensure they do not cause mayhem. And what we have sometimes is the fact that when you have them, they're able to tell other youths to look, stay off this one, don't come in. Because I look at most of the money that was spent during the EndSARS protest went to health, went to medicals, because by the time, and of course, for the ones that were fatal, there is no amount of money that will bring any life back. But you find out that you're having to spend so many hundreds of thousands just on one person who has been injured. And if probably you had used it to get people, pay this youth off to say, okay, no, yeah, don't cause mayhem, don't cause any harm, just stay off this. So there's a need for that maybe different pronged approach towards the issue of handling the youth. Then also is the fact that where they are using the youth to be against the youth must also find a way of using the older generation against themselves, because it's not everybody in the older generation that wants what is going on or are happy by what is going on. Some of them have been disenfranchised. Some of them are not happy with what is going on. And as much as possible, I think it's very important for everyone to come in and also use them, if I may use the word use. I saw, with the EndSARS protesters, they were very adamant in not allowing politicians to come in. They didn't want any coloration to the movement or the protest, and they drove a lot of people away and everything. But I think it would be very wise to be able to also use people from the across the generation who have been disenfranchised, who are not happy with their colleagues, to also use them, because at the end of the day, you want everything that you can get from there. So I think that's for that. The other question, of course, we have is that they talked about the fact that the heavy concentration in Lagos, the EndSARS, what did we learn? I think I've talked about what we learned earlier on, because I was just writing the question as people were saying them, and are there more awakened people in Lagos or not? So I will look at it. Like I said earlier on, this protest is more or less a protest of survival. It wasn't a protest of empathy. So you find out that there were a lot of victims who were, mainly victims who were, part of it. And even if you look at it for, the first time you had the Nigerians in diaspora being actively involved, guess what? Because they are also actively affected. When they come back home, for those who have come back home, most of them, they have their gory stories to tell. Either you came with your dreadlocks, or your accent had changed, or one thing or the other. You saw the way they felt also the impact of that. So that's sort of like awaken our people more. The SARS issue, it's very common in the West, especially Lagos. Lagos have been, I think, amongst the most affected ones. And then from the stories we're saying now, the East also have been really affected by the activities of SARS and the police brutality and all of that. And you know that we have a lot of our creatives. Creatives are the ones who are really affected with these things. Of course, we have those people who are creative. They, you know, they have a way of expressing themselves in terms of their dressing, in terms of what they have on their bodies, and having tattoos, having dreadlocks, having you know, plaiting their hair and all of that. And they were so very much affected. And the tech people have their mobile, sorry, what's this thing called? Laptops and everything. They also were very much highly affected, and a good concentration of them are in Lagos. And so that's why you have that so much activities coming in from Lagos. And Lagos is it's a country of its own anyway, even though, and that's the reason why you have so much of the impact and awareness being brought in, because, and sadly, the things that happen, even though they happen in other parts of the country before, you know, most times Lagos doesn't pay attention because Lagos is sort of like it's in a world of its own. Lagos is actually the place you can actually protest. Most time, you don't really have that high-handedness being brought in. As a member of the Bring Back Our Girls movement, we watch a number of times where Lagos family will do their protests and they will do it peacefully. Nobody ever harassed them. But we that were in other parts of the country, especially Abuja, we got harassed, we got beaten. And in this NSAS protest, the protesters from Abuja were harassed the most. Every day they were harassed, every day, but every day they came out on the streets, every day, right from when they used the talks on them to beat them up, to attack them, to break their cars. I mean, the destruction of properties did not just come from the talks, it started from the police. The very first day where that picture that went viral, that people, which is something that I do almost every protest, raise my feet, you know, stand there. This one was somehow different. After the police had done tear gassing, everybody ran away. I walked out slowly, and then guess what happened? The police destroyed one tire each of all of our cars that were parked there. And that was on Saturday. On Sunday, when we came in again at the protest, and then they used tear gas again, they used the hot water van, tear gas and everything. People ran away. Guess what again? They destroyed 2 tires per car. I remember coming home. I lost 3 tires in 2 days. I remember, I think that was on Sunday. Was it on Monday that my husband realized that, okay, tires had been spoiled. He still can't believe that Nigerian police actually, they used knife to viciously cut the tires. And somehow also, as if almost, even when I was driving back, almost as if they tampered with the brakes. Because when I was driving, there was somebody who had said he was having issues with his brakes when he was going on. When I was driving back again, I had slight issues with my own brakes. And so just for you to know the viciousness and the mindset of the people that we were dealing with. So it wasn't just the hoodlums that did that. So coming back to the issue of high concentration of these protesters in Lagos. So with the Lagos, of course, you know, the social media, there was so much more. Lagos is more, yeah, it's more awakened, it's more in there, even though most times it doesn't pay attention to the issues that are happening. But this time it did pay attention, because unfortunately they are one of the most affected by the issues of SARS and the police brutality and the harassment, checking phones and forcing people to do all of that. So there were that happened, but there were quite a number of people across other parts of Nigeria who came out very much, even though some of them didn't get the awareness that they got in Lagos. For example, Kano, the first protest that was called for in October was actually called for by Kano, but unfortunately people were frightened away. The first day, that was on the 7th of October, it was only 2 people that came out for the protest. But by 19th of October, the Kano people had also mobilized, and they were quite many. They mobilized, Kano came out. And that first day, there wasn't harassment. Police was even there, gave them protection. But on the 20th, they brought in thugs to attack them, and there was some fatality, of course, and it really affected the people. So there were quite a number of people elsewhere, even though in some parts of the country, the focus was not as much on them as it was on Lagos. And then when it comes to use of social media, Lagos State is more advanced in terms of the use of social media. Others used just like maybe boots on ground. Kaduna State came out almost every day And one of the things with Kaduna State, there were no harassment. I would say that there were no harassment from, or there were no non-harassment from authority. But Kaduna State were always on the street. Jos were also on the streets a lot. Though we had situation whereby live bullets were shot at people when the government convoy was going to pass. So we had, even in the east also, Edo State also were quite on the streets, and even they were the ones that even defied the curfew. When Edo State was the first place where the governor, who the youth had actually fought for, who had come back to power because people protested against Godfatherism, would try to put a curfew, but the people did not take that. So there were quite a number of people that are all across Nigeria who were coming out. I'm going to come back to the one of the northern youth because and talk about that. There's a question there that I will address and maybe talk about more on the people that came around. I'm very glad that somebody pointed out, and I wish a lot of us have seemed to forget, that killings did not just happen, even on that day, not just at the Lekki toll gate, but killings happened all across Lagos and also across the different states, other states in Nigeria. Then it comes to the question, can Nigerian government be held accountable? Well, that's a major, that's a question. Can Nigerian government be held accountable? The biggest people that would be able to hold Nigerian government accountable, it's really the Nigerian people. There's sovereignty, we know that, and most times the international laws are not as effective as domestic law. And for you to even be punished, you have to first of all you agree to being punished. So it's very difficult to hold states accountable at the international level because it is first among equals. There's no one body that makes these laws and enforce the laws, and even the people that are going to be sanctioned have to agree that they're going to allow themselves to be sanctioned. So that is one. But the most important thing is that power belongs to the people, and it's the people that we actually use that power to punish or not punish. And ordinarily in other countries, government will be resigning over what happened. But the Nigerian people don't have that much power in itself. So being held accountable, it all depends. Is it individuals that will be held accountable? That can be done. You talk of the ICC, when people are going to be indicted, they will face the wrath of the law. Maybe even when they leave offices, that could be done. But in terms of the state as a whole, and then we have the visa ban, and I'm glad somebody did mention that they're quite afraid of it. And one thing also is the fact that they are jittery, even though the government is trying to show that, oh, nothing is going on, and put up a brave face. You can see that they're jittery. Remember Buratai, the chief of army staff, telling his people that, oh, they should not be afraid of the international courts and they should go out and discharge their duties. And that I think it's reported that he said, oh, that they have nothing, they are not afraid of any visa ban. It shows that it's affecting them. It shows that it's getting to them. It shows that something is going on. So please bring it on. Make life uncomfortable for them when they travel abroad. When you see them, harass them in a lawful manner. Let them know that they can't just destroy the country and then go find refuge out there. They can't just travel. And one of the things that I've met Nigerian officials right from 2014. I remember in 2014 when we were in New York over during Bring Back Our Guest movement, meeting some of these ministers and everything. Abroad, they don't have power. Abroad, they don't have the security agents. Abroad, we can get to tell them the truth the way it is. So whether Nigerian government can be held accountable, well, that we wait to see and the way that goes. But even like, for example, sometimes when they say, oh, in terms of sanctions, put sanctions on the country, it's the people that end up really being affected by that. But the best way we can hold Nigerian government accountable is by ensuring that politically they feel it. And this is where Nigerians in diaspora need to come in. On my show, I've talked about a lot about what are Nigerians in diaspora doing to ensure they are part of the electoral process. I mean, you guys remit a lot of money back to Nigeria. We are talking about, I think as of it's over either 15 or over $15 billion that you bring back to the nation. They're talking about between 4 to 8% of the GDP of Nigeria. You are contributing to the economy of Nigeria, but you're not taking part in the politics of Nigeria. It's absurd. You can't be giving back you can't have such economic power. You can't be contributing to the economy of the country, and yet you're not part of the politics of the country that ends up determining how the economy goes. In 2015, the APC government came in with the promise that they were going to ensure diaspora voted. Why hasn't that been done? There are millions of Nigerians in diaspora. Nigerians in diaspora are people that can shift the narrative in Nigeria. Not only you have what I call circle of influence. By the time you're partaking in election in Nigeria, you will not only influence. Your votes cannot be bought. They cannot use hoodlums on you. They cannot use security agents on you. And you have your numbers. Your identity are known. There's nothing like a ghost, whatever. There won't be ghost Nigerians in diaspora. So you have so much power. And even the people back home, you'll be able to, whoever it is you're supporting or you're voting for, you can influence the people within your circle. And it comes to, you have to use the economic power that you have. You spend so much to take care of the people in Nigeria. You're working so hard, you're having to share it with Nigerians, yet Nigerians are not holding their government accountable. You need to begin to make people hold their government accountable. You can't just be sending in this money and you're not getting anything out of it. The same people back home will sell their votes for 5,000 naira, and you will be the ones to take care of them for the next 4 years using over 200,000, 300,000, 400,000, 1 million naira on the same person that sold their votes for 5,000 naira. And it is time that you begin to take some of this. It is time to begin to take some of this action. You cannot continue to be stopgap for people that refuse to hold their government accountable. And so it's very important to become part of the electoral process. Diaspora voting has to be brought back if we want anything. This also, we go to some of the questions. I think there's a question that I've seen, okay, where somebody said, can we use another method to get them out? And one of those methods is that Nigerians in diaspora must insist, that's the next protest you guys must insist that you become part of the electoral process that we have there. The voting must be able to, you must be able to vote. And then you have to begin to use your power, your influence over your people, your family members. They can't be coming to ask you to share all the things that you're working hard for over there for them to share. And they sit down here and don't hold their government accountable. They sit down here, they vote in the same kind of people. When the right people come in to stand for election, what happens? They are being told that, oh, you know, election is not by grammar. Oh, you people are talking too much. They vote in the same rogue people into offices, and you have to be the one to bear that. No. And Nigerians who are taking the burden have to begin to make people understand that they will no longer be the, because at the end of the day, we also are the problem. You also are the problem. You are the enablers of the shenanigans that keep going on. In January 2019, 1st of January, I think that was my first tweet on that day. I said, I will no longer be stopgap for people who refuse to hold their government accountable. You cannot continue to support government that is doing the wrong thing. You cannot continue to vote in the wrong people. And then you expect me to be the one to take in the wahala on my head. No way. If you vote in the government people who are wrong into office, guess what? Or you collect money and vote them in. When you're coming to me to tell me that your children school fees, you are unable to pay it, I will tell you, go and meet your government because you voted them in. You enable them to keep doing it. I'm not going to use my hard-earned money no more that I've worked hard for, and the government is destroying the businesses because they're not giving conducive environment for businesses to thrive. And then you come for me and tell me to come and pay your children's school fees. Sorry, you're going to enjoy the consequences of voting the wrong people into office. Right people come into office, we shame them, we laugh at them, we mock them. We do not, people who give us, tell us, this is what they're going to do. We vote in the same kind of people. You collect 5,000 naira, then I will be the one spending hundreds of thousands of naira on you and your family. No way. And I think Nigerians in the diaspora need to begin to have this, all this emotional blackmail of, oh yeah, you know, you have to help because God said we should help. God also said we should use our brain. That's the reason why God gave us brain. And if people aren't using their brain to vote in the right people into office, then we will not be the ones that will continue to be stopgap. Because the thing that has happened over time is that the government has been allowed to abdicate its responsibilities. And government has thoroughly done that. Guess who are the ones who are taking over the job of government? You and I. You are taking over, you're providing your own security and that of others. You're paying for people's healthcare. You're paying for people's education. You have to carry a lot of children that you're also putting them in school, not just your children. I mean, how many of us, we don't just pay for our children only, we pay for other people's children. And these are things that government are supposed to be doing. And government will not do it. And the same government will come, they will meet the people, and the same people will give them those votes. So these are some of the things
Thank you,
that has to be done. At the end of the day, the people.
Before you go to the last question, I think you have like maybe one or two questions left. Let's take because our time is fast spent. I know in some regions they're already like 1 hour or two ahead of the rest of us. So Miriam,
yeah.
Can I just round up on this question so that if there are new questions, I'll be able to take it on there, please.
Okay, Aisha.
Maybe what will happen, I will just speak. I'm sorry, I'm taking so much of you guys, and the questions were quite.
No, we're really, we wish we had like 3 hours.
The ginger, I'm beginning to see the Aisha that I know. Gradually, she got into mood. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And so, okay, so I think I've spoken on the issue of can we use another method to get them out? I've briefly spoken on that. That's the next question. Okay, how long the panel is? I think the panel, I know of the Lagos one because I think the TOR, I think they're going to be up for about 6 months. It's in the next 6 months. There's a time frame. But I don't know of all the other ones that are going on, but that's one of the questions. How can we use another method to get them out? Yes, and that will have to be through politics, through the ballot paper. But we must have electoral reforms. Without electoral reforms, forget about it. 2023, they're going to use talks again. They're going to unleash violence. We saw violence unleashed in Kogi State. We saw Kano State and all of that. So, but we need the electoral reform. We need the diasporas to be able to start voting. So these are some of the things that we need to also fight for. And there needs to be enlightenment. People need to tell other people that, look, you cannot just sit down, like I said earlier, vote in a lot of charlatans into office and expect other people to take the responsibility. For me, I'm a very blunt person. I'm not nice. I don't do emotional blackmails where they come and tell you, hey, you know, no, if you vote in the wrong people, you should bear the consequences of voting in the wrong people. We've allowed a lot of citizens to abdicate their responsibilities. People play God, people play government, and I think it's time for us to stop that. They need to be able to feel the effect so that they will know that they too, they will make the demands. Okay, what are Nigerian people going to do even from their homes? The social media is a powerful tool. Let's keep using it. Let's keep talking. Silence is not an option. Those of you in diaspora, you're doing amazing. You're putting their feet on the fire and they're feeling it. Let's keep making demands on other issues such as electoral demands. So electoral reforms is very important. Put pressure on the National Assembly, the legislature. It's part of it, and let people also begin to think about participating in politics, especially people who have the capacity, who have character. And like I discussed, the topic I discussed yesterday on my show was the fact that Nigerians must now put their money where their votes are. We must begin to know that when people come out to run for election, just like we have in other countries, we have to also donate to their campaign funds. We should not expect that people will use their own money to come and run for office and be there. It's not possible. The only people that are benefiting from that is people who have looted and they are using our own money to perpetuate themselves in office again. So we must ensure that you see the right kind of person, vote for them. 1,000 naira, 10,000 naira, 20,000, 50,000, 100,000, 1 million, whatever it is you can, vote for the people that you know they have the capacity. Give them the money, donate to the people that you know they have the capacity to do that. Then I'll come to the final question I think that we have there, which was asked by that last person, is about the youth in the North. right? Why youth in the north? Okay, why youth in the north are quiet is the last question. But before, because this is a very interesting one. Then your northern youth, like they said, yeah, they didn't take part in NSAS protest. For one of the reasons, and I think, okay, I will join that with why are youth in the north quiet. I've talked about this, and I think I tweeted, I did a trade on it one time, is to say, in everything that we do, we have to look at the culture and the custom of the people. The northern youth, I got a lot of flags, and a lot of them insulted me at when I said that and said, "Oh, do you think that we're going to be disrespectful to our elders?" The northern youth, unlike the southern youth, and I'm not saying this out of disrespect. I'm a child of the north and the south. I was born and brought up in Kano. I speak Hausa like a native. I'm also from from Edo State, so I'm a child of the north and the south. And I can see both parts dispassionately. I don't belong to any of them. I'm just a Nigerian. I'm me. The northern youth is brought up to not to talk back to elders, whether it's the Christian youth or the northern youth or the Muslim youth within the north. They're brought up to act with respect, not to challenge their parents. Unlike the southern youth, have more of capacity to challenge parents and say, oh, this and that. And so it has also gone up to adults. So, like I always say, we were brought up to never to speak up to elders. Elders are always right. And then people became adults. They replaced their parents and elders with government. And it still happens within the North. So not many people are able to express themselves and make demands and all of that. And this also comes into play at the national level and in making demands. So they were not as much. But towards the end, like you saw, Kano were able to come out in full mass to mobilize. There was also NSAS protests in Zaria and all of that. So if this had continued, which was that would have gone on. But one of the things that I raised was that why there was a lot of effort to put divide with the NSAS protests. You saw people, clerics, some Muslim clerics coming out to say that, oh, this is a ploy to take away, to undermine the government of Buhari. This is a ploy to change power and all of that. They tried to use that, but some people were getting that awareness that this is not so. This had continued for a very long time. One of the things that I did towards just before the 20, I can't remember which of the days precisely, was I reached out to some of the members of Lagos who were doing, finance was a major issue. One thing we need to appreciate is the fact that these protests were able to go on as it did because there were Nigerians who had donated, and there was an organization, Feminist Coalition, that was helping to ensure that, people were being taken care of in terms of financing. Because if you do an Occupy is very expensive. It's not just a protest that you go and come back. And so I know there was lack of organization. There was this End Secure North and End Insecurity that was going on. And like I said, NSAS was a protest of survivor. It wasn't a protest of empathy. So even though, yes, there is SARS issues in North, it's not as common as it is in the South. So most of them couldn't relate to what NSAS was all about. And so for them, what some of them could relate to was secure North and end insecurity. And so I reached out to one of them over in Lagos, and I said to them, look, is it possible to help organize and help out with the people who are trying to do protests for secure North? It doesn't matter whether we have two hashtags, NSAS and secure North and insecurity could be going on at the same time. What we wanted was to ensure, and I said to them, I said, look, ensure that everybody is on the streets. So if you have different people coming out, the youth all over Nigeria coming out with these two different hashtags, the government wouldn't know who to face, and they will have more on their hand. And I think I did that, whether it was on the 18th or I can't remember. And there was like, oh, okay, they will think over it. And just before that happened, that was when we had the October. A few days later was when we had the October effect. Because what I said to them, yes, the NSAS might not resonate as much with the people in the North, especially the Northern youth, but secure North will resonate because in banditry, Boko Haram, the kidnappings, were going on a lot. So it's very important to be able to use all of these hashtags, no matter what it is, to be able to work on that and focus on that. So these are some of the things that we have to put in place. We have to learn that sometimes it might not be just one hashtag that will unite the whole Nigeria. It can be two, and it's okay, as long as it's about making demands, about getting a Nigeria that works for us, about getting a nation that we all can be proud of. So be it. Let's get that done. And we have to understand that there are certain differences in terms of culture, in terms of making demands, in terms of the things that some people can do. There are people that can be more vocal, and there are people who aren't that vocal. Even in individuals, there are people who can make demands, there are people who can make demands. So what we need to do is get people to align and use whatever it is we have to be able to ensure that we have a Nigeria that works for us. So thank you very much, everyone. If I've not answered any question, let me know. And if there's anything, don't be bothered about the fact that it is almost 4 a.m. I can stay all night without sleeping. Yesterday, I didn't sleep. I sleep more in the morning.
We know you now.
So it's okay.
Some
Go
of
ahead.
us know you now. I'll just quickly, just to do justice, there are two people that we cut off at that time. We didn't want the question to be too much for you. And the two of them, will bring them in now. One, Olaleko did mention you didn't answer one of his questions, but I don't know which one. I am suspecting is the one that he asks about, do you think that this panel will give any form of justice? So I'll call Mary Ann, and after Mary Ann, I will also call Joe, because they refuse to put down their hands since that time. Mary Ann.
Yeah, hi everyone. Thank you, Chidi, for this platform, and Aisha, thanks a lot for giving us a perspective of what's happening back home. My question is, I would want to refer to the lady who initially spoke. I came in late for the meeting. I think she's a lawyer. She mentioned something about the United Nations, and that's the second process. And she said something about coming up with documented evidence, right, to the floor. And Aisha, when you spoke, you also mentioned that I think during the panel, there will be a segment whereby those who have been victims of police brutality would be called upon to speak. Now, I just want to know, because you can't, the Nigerian factor, it's still there. Before somebody gets killed, or a lot of people get killed before they even come up to make their statement. So I would like to know, is there a way whereby we can collate videos, pictures, testimonies, and have it together as a portfolio whereby, since those in the diaspora are working towards pushing this as well, so that if it comes to the point whereby we have to make these available to the United Nations, we already have this all together. I just want to know what the possibilities are if this can be done, because I think it's necessary at this point, at least now that we still know that they are alive, especially with the likes of DJ Switch and everything, we could come together and see how we can harmonize all these evidences, videos, pictures, testimonies, signatures, and all of that together, and looking forward to using it for a futuristic cause. That's my question. I don't know if that would be possible. Yeah.
All right,
Thank you.
Joe. We have Joe.
Hello.
Yeah, Joe Eze.
Yes,
Go ahead.
Aisha, thank you so much for for
Joe.
the recount.
So Joe Eze, we can't see you. You have to one of the policy, you have to be on video. We need to see you.
You can't see me.
Oh, okay. I'll keep quiet. Maybe you come to the center. Go ahead.
Okay, I think maybe it's a little dark, but I think my face should be showing. Thank you, Aisha, for recounting what happened in Nigeria. It's really very unfortunate. Over here in Canada, we really felt so bad when we saw the pictures and the activities that happened in Nigeria. And also, thank you very much for representing us very well.
Hello, please, can you speak up a little bit? I can't hear.
Okay. Yeah, so sorry. So I just thank you once again for your bravery and for all you've been doing for us in Nigeria, and for representing the youth. My question is probably going to be a simple comment. I know you've also mentioned something about it. Is it very possible that in the next wave of protest, we could, try to bring to light the hashtag of, suspending their visas or bringing their kids back to Nigeria? Because one of the senators, while making a presentation, was so proud to say that, his kids were demonstrating at the street of US. These are the people that are destroying the country, and they are now on every street you go here, you see their kids. Most of them are very arrogant because they know money is coming from Nigeria. Is it not possible for us to make that hashtag really public? And I can promise you, those of us in social media and technology, we can help you go as far as we can.
Okay.
Let's make it really, really strong that the visa ban or bring back their kids to Nigeria.
Thanks, Joe. Okay. Yeah. All right. Oh, good question, Joe. I would just like, the last person is Timmy. Timmy, I see your hand is raised. And after this, Madam Yesufu will respond. Timmy, please come on. You have to be on video and you can speak. Okay, we don't have Timmy.
Hello? Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
All right, thank you so much. I really want to appreciate Madam Aisha for everything you've been doing for we Nigerians, especially we in diaspora. But I have a question, because all this that we actually doing, we've been listening to different kind of news, this today, the other one tomorrow. I want to ask Madam Aisha, with your experience and you being in Nigeria, is Buhari still alive? I want to know.
Okay, thank you. That's all.
That's interesting.
Aisha, fire on, please. Thank you.
You are mute, Aisha.
Hello, sorry about that. I forgotten that I muted myself. There was a question. Somebody you said who said I haven't answered his question.
I think it's Olalekan. I tried to guess one of his questions because I heard it.
If you can ask now, or he could have written it down.
Olalekan, are you there? Please, you have Aisha remembers you.
Yeah, I think she answered most of all my questions. I
saw
so.
the comment saying one of your questions not answered.
I guess maybe somebody was saying that on my behalf. I didn't type that in the comment, but the question is just about. I think she jumped it, but it's okay. Justice delayed is justice denied. We know how Nigerians government can drag foot.
Okay.
So is this going to be possible that we get justice, which I think she answered.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. So thank you very much. Of course, justice delayed is justice denied. With the antecedent of what we have in Nigeria is the fact that these things happen, the panels happen, and then at the end of the day, nothing happens. So that's what we have had before. If you all remember, in 2018, there was a panel was set up to reform SARS, and in January 2019, in June 2019, the panel submitted their report to the president, and the president said that they were going to follow the recommendations of the panel and do the things that are recommended. But hey, it's 16 months now, and nothing was done about it. There are quite a number of people who were indicted in that panel that happened, and also in other ones, and yet they are still in office. Some of them have been promoted. If we remember the Apple 6 that happened, some of the main person, the main culprit there today is back in service and was even promoted. Like yesterday, someone reached out to me and they were saying that they want that whole issue to be brought back again, and it's because two people were sentenced, and so most times what happens is that within the police that they just find the people that will be like the scapegoats, and then they just use them, and they don't care. Those ones are seen as collateral damage. So it's all about the kind of how do I put it now? It's about Nigerians not letting their eyes off the ball. it's about Nigerians being focused. One of the things that our politicians and our rulers, they are not leaders really, they are rulers, depend on, is the fact that we have, our staying power isn't that much. So after a while, people move on. And I think somehow our religiosity sort of like affect us also. Leave it to God now, God will do it. God that said, the same God gave punishment of things to be done. So we don't fight for justice. So it will depend on us holding on and continuing. I think that's the thing that will be the game changer on this, is that we do not let our eyes off the ball. We focus, we follow the proceedings. It's not after a day or two, we just, like somebody said, like, we lack that resilience. People want to move on. And no, we won't move on this issue. You find out that in other countries, people follow justice for years. I think the Liverpool thing that happened, where at the game of Liverpool, during the game of Liverpool, where people were killed for over 30 years, they fought and followed the issue until they got the justice that they want. Even some of them still say they didn't get that justice. So these are some of the things that we need to do. Back to the question of collating evidence, that is already being done. Collating evidences, putting videos and everything, and ensuring that they are authenticated. There are quite a number of organizations that are already working on that. Amnesty International also is doing amazingly well. But you see, one of the things that has really happened is that government has tried to, this fake news thing, like I said earlier, the biggest purveyor of fake news is government. And sometimes they deliberately put this thing in misinformation and then put in some of these old issues that are wrong. And there are some handles out there that they are actually government handles. They bring out fake news just to muddy the water. So you can have like 10 authentic news and everything, then one video that is fake will spoil everything, and then that begins to put doubt in people's mind. Just this gaslighting that they do to put doubt in people's mind and all of that. So that's a major issue that is being dealt with. But there are people who are going through, painstakingly going through everything. And if you notice now, initially the media, the military they were denying. Now they are coming out to say this and that. It's because of things that have been put together. And also there are some newspapers, I can't remember, some news, this thing that have painstakingly put some of these evidences together using the Google Maps, using the videos that came out, and be able to authenticate that indeed there were vehicles, there were soldiers were deployed from Boni camp, and their movement. And they forget that there's technology in the world now, and we have that DJ Switch's live, this thing that she did, live broadcast that she did. So they've been able to put together where, of course, see where the camp, the soldiers, the movement from the camp and everything, and some of the videos that were taken at the toll gate, they were able to be able to authenticate them using technology, using Google Maps and all of that. So that's a major thing, and that's something that is going to help a lot. Like I said earlier, also Amnesty International is really, really working hard and collating all of this evidence, because at the end of the day, you need real facts. Like the speaker earlier that said that lawyers don't win cases, it's facts that win cases. So they are really actually collating all of these facts together. United Nations, AU, ECOWAS, they are not, like I say, international law is not the same thing as domestic law. The effect of the law is not that hard, especially on countries. And if it's sanctions and all of that, most times it's the people also that come again to suffer the sanctions. Like most of these rulers that we have, they already have dual citizenship, they have visas, they've bought abroad, they can easily fly abroad, they have a different life out there. It's the people back home that are continuously suffer. So yes, evidence are being put together, they are being authenticated, and people are actually, because people are thinking of going to the courts and everything, the international courts and all of that. On the issue of visa ban for officials, that's already being done by quite a number of organizations. I know JNJ has been very at the forefront in using his organization, Concerned Nigerians, to ensure that these visa bans are going on. And then sadly, a lot of people, a lot of rulers, they have their children abroad. They do the school there, so most of them don't care about what is happening back home. I don't have any problem with people having their children abroad schooling. My kids are also school abroad. My son had to leave Nigeria when he was 14 and go to UK because I have a dyslexic son. And in Nigeria, of course, up till now, most kids with dyslexia are not given the right kind of thing. Both of my kids, I spent 1 year out of Nigeria, where some people said I had run out of Nigeria. Basically, the reason was for me, I needed to go and settle my daughter in school, who was starting university at 17. Even though she had been in England for the last 2 years, at 15, she was in a boarding school. So it's not as much about having children abroad. It's as much about whose money are they using. If you're using your private money to keep your children abroad, so be it. That's your personal business. But when you're using state funds, and it now becomes a problem. And especially when you are in a position to change the educational system to ensure that, I mean, what is wrong in other people coming to Nigeria to have education, to get their education, yet people in office, they're not thinking about ensuring that they get our educational system back on track. They have their children out there, they're not doing this. We need to do everything we can. And I think the visa ban, of course, it really affects them and it really touches them. And we have quite a number of people who are already working on that. But for those of you in diaspora, there anything you can do, please go ahead and do that. I'm especially making life uncomfortable for them when they come over there. Then the final question, of course, is always the question that people are asking: is Buhari alive? I would say, yeah, Buhari is alive. I mean, when people try to do this whole thing of, oh no, what I say is that Buhari so failed that he failed to even be himself. That's the reason why people think, oh, they say it's a clone, it's somebody else. But there's a difference between being alive and being in charge. Is Buhari in charge of Nigeria? Definitely not. He doesn't. Is he in charge? Is he fully in charge of his faculties? That's questionable. Does he really understand what's going on? That's questionable. But the thing I think where people talk about this, he was dead in 2017, is a clone that had been put up and everything. One of the things I have said, look, let's even assume Buhari is dead. Let's assume that it's somebody else that is there. Can the thing that is there, even if the thing is not a human being, can the thing that is there act as the president and commander-in-chief? Because that thing was the one that was voted in 2019. And so, sometimes when we ask this question, it's like almost we're trying to make him, we're allowing him room to abdicate his responsibility. We are trying to say that, oh, Buhari can't do this. He is the one that is doing it, and he really doesn't care. He doesn't. One of the things that he has been consistent about is the fact that his lack of leadership affects both the North and the South, affects both Muslims and Christians, affects both Hausa, Igbo, Yoruba, Efik, Ibibi, everyone. The fact that he doesn't care when people are killed, even if it happens in his village. I mean, his own town has been attacked, the village head. For people to really understand who the president is, and I think many people do forget that. I said to them, the village head of his town, Daura, was abducted, was kidnapped, and for months he was there. Buhari didn't see that as an effrontery. How can you come to my own village head and president and commander-in-chief? You dare to come and carry that's an assault on me. That's it. But he didn't feel any of that. The state, the Katsina state is one of the most affected states. The insecurity there is unbelievable. People, even he himself, hardly can go. He that used to jump and go to his village. When last did you hear him going to Daura? He hardly can go there. And so we need to understand that he really doesn't care. He doesn't care about the people, and that's the thing we have to understand. This care, he doesn't even hide it. He has shown it. When shooting went on in Villa, in also Villa, he made changes. He did a lot of changes. But Nigerians have been killed over and over again, and they're saying to him that he should fire the service chiefs. He hasn't done that. But one of the things that I think none has been said here for now is the fear of knowing that what if that's the place that Nigerians, and we must ensure that that never happens, of maybe because you see the military they are on the streets beating people, the militaries, they are asserting themselves. They should never, ever think of a coup, because this is not 1984. A coup in Nigeria will never happen. We are not, it's not the one for people to just sit down and then allow some people to just think that they can come and do a Mali on Nigeria. That's not possible. And with the way the president has been going, with the way that he seems not to be in charge of anything, the body language is giving them, the military and security agents, more and more, and they're becoming more emboldened. And it's not something that we should allow. I see somebody asking of the financial system. I basically don't know what that is, but I think let me just say I don't know much about the finances. If you're talking about in terms of protests, the feminist coalition were the ones that really handled that part, where people donated money and they used the money judiciously. And I think that's one of the reasons why there has been success of this NSAS protest, because in everything that you do, you need, and most times, most of the other protests that you see happen, we bear them the burden privately, and it's really quite expensive, and especially when it comes to issue of like Occupy, where people have to stay out there on the streets. I remember when I did the issue of a Nigeria Immigration 2000, and we had to occupy the front of the Aso Villa, and they slept there. I mean, most people might not remember these 2,000 people who had been trained in immigration, in firearms, and giving firearms training, everything, were sacked, 2,000 of them, by Buhari's administration. And that was after the whole massacre that had happened, the killings, the dying, people died, the incident that happened where people died. And we did that, and they spent, they had to sleep over there. It wasn't quite easy. I had to do that on my own, feeding that much number of people, taking care of them. So the protests I normally do, I take part in. Some of them protests, a good number of them aren't expensive anyway, just getting people just come out and do there. But the ones I had to do, I had to personally pay for them. So I'd never had to collect money, so I really don't know anything about financing on this one. But the feminist coalition were the ones who really did that. Thank you so much, everyone.
Before Dr. Chiti pops up, let me take advantage. I have one question for you, Aisha. And by the way, you're lucky tonight that my kids are already in bed because they know you so much. I would have loved them to come here and say hi to Auntie Aisha. One question I have, and there's one other person that requests. This is all about you tonight, so take the stage. We should round up soon. My own question before I let Olawale Oladeji to come in is
no, sorry, excuse me, Abby, no, please.
Okay.
We must respect people's time. We
Okay.
had to end this by 11. Yeah, please ask your question and then I'll come in and then we'll close.
And round up. Okay, we were supposed to close by 11 anyway. Okay, one simple question, Aisha, and this question I already know the answer on Twitter, but I put it here for everyone to say. Say a few things about Desmond Elliot today or yesterday in Nigeria. There's comments on social media.
Okay, so I have to say the question on sponsoring that people have. I personally, so I don't know of other this. I personally have never done any sponsoring. Everything I do it privately. I use my own money. I'm self-funded in a way. Even when in the Bring Back Our Girls movement, we were self-funded. We put our money where our equity is. That's the way that we. Before I come to your question, I see one that just came up privately. So I don't do sponsorship. So I am the one who does my own thing. And that's the reason why I have my big mouth and I can use it. And I always say to any Nigerian, there's nobody in public office that would ever say that Aisha Yesufu came to their office for anything, never. I started speaking out in 2014 and I turned 40 December 2013. And for me, one of the things I said to myself then was that I had become the problem of Nigeria by my silence, because yes, I was speaking on issues around me, but I wasn't speaking on national issues. Before I did that, what I did was to ensure that I was financially independent, because I know in Nigeria, when you're poor, you're faceless, nameless, and voiceless. And I grew up poor, and I know the way you're treated when you're poor, and I never wanted that. So I've always been the one that I do my own thing. I'm just trying to answer the question that I see that popped up in the chat. So I've always done my own thing. I've never done, even my NGO, I have an NGO called Citizens Hub, it's private. I use my own money. I'm a businesswoman, and that's what I've done all my life. I've never worked, and I have no intention of ever working for anyone. I've been in business for the last 20 years. So I'm going to come back to the issue of Desmond Elliot, and I see they've actually changed his name from Desmond Elliot to Desmond. Okay, I'll allow everybody to fill in the blanks there.
Yeah.
I think what happens is the fact that it's so ridiculous, the number of things that have been coming out from his mouth. But then, and then what
I'm
we've
sorry,
seen with
ma'am.
the Lagos State.
Just to put perspective, I'm sorry to cut you short. The reason I pick him, there are other ones, because he's a youth and he's a fine youth. That's why I'm throwing it out here.
Okay, so why it is this way? So what I'm also would say is the fact that first of all, capacity, character, competence are not youth-based. They are not gender-based. They are not age-based. They are not color-based. They are not any based. They are just individual-based. And I think that's one of the things that we need to look at. In what is happening in Nigeria is the fact that the people are not the ones in charge of Nigeria. And so anything happens. First of all, we are not the ones who vote these people into office. It's their godfathers that bring them on. And then secondly, the demand side of governance, we are not very into it, except for this NSAS protest that got a lot of Nigerians on. Normally, Nigerians don't bother about what is going on. And so when you don't hold them to demand, then nothing happens. In Canada over there, your elected officials know that if they behave badly, they're going to be punished by the people. But here, our own know that if they behave badly, they're not going to be punished by the people. The only people that will punish them are their godfathers. And so that's one thing. Beyond that also, and I see somebody who has done a comment, and that's where I'm coming to, which is what I always say. We need to be careful about what we call youth. Like I'm saying, somebody saying that Desmond is 46. That's not youth. That's almost middle age. I'm 46. I'm going to be 47 in December. I'm not youth. My children are the ones that are youth. My youngest child is 19. Those are the people that are youth. As far as I'm concerned, the moment you've crossed 30, you even have no business calling yourself a youth. So sometimes when people try to use like Elisha Abu, people say, oh, he's youth. I say, no, he's not youth. This governor of Kogi State also. So what I'm trying to say is that all of these things are not based on this demography, whether age, gender, or whatever, but on individuals. And it comes to the fact that we are not the ones who are voting them in. You know, one of the things that I always say to people is the fact that, look, if you look at the officials that we have, for example, look at the National Assembly, 99% of them would not have gotten into office if they did not run under APC or PDP. So that is very important and instructive. So they know, even when they come in, okay, people vote, most Nigerians vote out of fear. You vote because, oh, he was APC, he's PDP. Probably there are other people who are better than Desmond Elliot, and whom the people know are actually better than Desmond Elliot, who ran in 2019 under other parties. But guess what? They were not voted for because people say, oh, their parties don't have structures. People forget that they are the structures. And I keep saying to people, parties are not the structures. We, the people, are the structures. And if you sell a candidate, just like you do network marketing, you can sell this candidate to that side. We talk about it. We say, this is what we're going to do. We vote those people in. The people will be loyal. The people we vote in will be loyal to the people. But right now, they are not loyal to the people. Desmond is more loyal to Tinubu than he is to whoever was it that was putting his hand. Because after all, how many people came out to vote in Lagos? Lagos had over 1 million registered, how many, what am I talking about? How many millions? Is it 5 or 6 million registered voters? How many came out to vote? That's the problem. So, but they know that before they got their ticket, they had to get the nod from their godfathers. So they are more interested. Look at the shenanigans that is going on in the Lagos State Assembly, right? Okay, so yeah, so look at the shenanigans that was going on in the Lagos State Assembly. Do you think all of that thing they were talking about, social media has to be, it's because of one person. One person was really affected in Lagos State happening, and that's Tinubu. And so they needed to quickly show their loyalty. Baba, we are with you. We are not with the people because they know your votes don't count. The only way that you ensure that people like Desmond Elliot, even when they get into office and they want to behave badly, they sit up and behave very well, is to ensure that it is the people that are voting them in. It is not the godfathers that are giving them. As long as Nigerians continue to vote out of fear rather than out of conviction, we will continue to see this problem happening because they know it is not the people that put them there. It is their godfathers that put them there. The people that ensure that they got the ticket of their parties are the people that they will be loyal to. And so that is the reason, that is a problem that we have right now. And these are some of the things that we need to begin to look at. And most importantly, Nigerians should begin to vote out of in conviction and not out of fear. Where people say that, oh, nobody will, they will actually laugh at other people who have competence, who have character, who have capacity, who will not talk the way Desmond Elliot is talking. What do? We shame them, we laugh at them, we make fun of them. Oh, you think election is by grammar? Oh, you think election is by this? But guess what? We all are feeling the effect. And so because they know that we are not the ones that put them in, that's the reason why people like Desmond Elliot we do what they're doing. And it's really quite disgraceful and really quite shameful that I think his acting has been better than what he has had. I've had a lot of stories, you know, when they talk about that the father, he, what was that thing? This thing that they do, oh gosh, when they do a project, he did one of, is it a toilet or something? I still can't believe, but I'm trying to think that might be true, seeing the way things are going on now. And you see the other woman, you know, talking down on people, calling people children, you know, and even there was a lady who came in who said she has school in UK, and the fact that there are people who are jobless in UK, but they don't behave. I mean, how can you do exactly commission a toilet? I thought that thing was a joke, but I'm beginning to have a think. How can you compare UK to Nigeria? At least they even have 24/7 electricity there. Their public officials don't loot a lot of the things. Yet she's coming here to not see it. But the thing is that just looking at what was happening in the Lagos State Assembly is the fact that they have to be loyal to one person, the godfather, rather than to the people. So I think the people need to begin to work on ensuring that the people who get into office are the ones that they vote and not out of fear. It's just like when Edo election was happening. I'm from Edo State, and one of the things I said then was that a win for me in Edo State would have been neither APC nor PDP winning, neither Obaseki nor Izeyamu winning, but another candidate who is competent, who has capacity and has character getting it. That way they will know that indeed the power is with the people. But right now what they know is the power is with the godfathers or whoever it is that give them the ticket to those parties. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Aisha. Thank you, everybody. You see, the reason why it was important that, and we will have these opportunities much more, especially now that we are waiting for the next step, because it's good we are hearing from you that you guys are waiting for the next step of what to be done. We will keep mounting the pressure, but we're going to bring a lot of people to talk to our people, because what has happened here is a lot of people, either out of ignorance or out of inexperience, have been pushing some things forward. And when we get into discussing these things, it looks like we didn't want to get argumentative. So it's best when we actually hear from people who have been the actors. And if people like me begin to say, oh, we are also the actors, you know, the prophet is without honor. So you'd be like, Chidi, I beg, go and sit down. So, but it's okay. We will bring you guys to come and talk to us. On that note, I really want to thank everybody who signed on. I know we have to go sleep because we have to go to work tomorrow. To Ajoke wrote has been Ajoke did a petition, and our sister that was talking to us before we had to let Aisha take
Yeah,
this.
Edosa had to drive back home from off work.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what we will do is I really think I don't like disrespecting people, especially with their time. We were supposed to close at 11, and even Madam Aisha, who I was so worried about, managed to actually stay longer than everybody. So what we should do is let us continue this discussion on the Telegram group. At least now people can see that we are directly connected to what is going on back home. And then just to let you guys know that you're not seeing things happen, on the Telegram group does not mean that consultations are not going on in the background. What we've always said is whatever you want to work on, whatever you're interested in, just let us know in the main group, and I can assure you we'll direct you to anybody, any branch that you want. We have people doing things. We have lobbyists working for us. We have members of the city hall. We have people in Ottawa that are working with us. We got everybody on this team. So please, whatever you can do. Someone says, how do we join the Telegram group? We would I don't know, Abby, if it's possible for you to grab the link and place it here on the Telegram group, and you guys will see that you can come there and discuss with us. And let me make this final note known here. Look, there are so many groupings, there are so many things that are being formed right now, both in Toronto, both in Canada, both in the US, in North America. All those things can go on. We do not have anything against them, but we are just focused. We are focused in this group on trying to be a support to the protest that is going on back home. That's why we cannot get involved in everything. There are political moves, and people are saying, why are we not doing this? No, we can't do all of that. It's going to scatter us. Our focus is in supporting the protest back home and relating with all the actors back there, okay? And on that note, I would want to bring this to a close. Aisha, like always, thank you so much. We'll go way back. We'll continue. We have a big job. We know we have a big job. We'll have to keep doing it. We will take all the knocks and all the misunderstanding and everything that will come with it, but we will continue to do that. I really want to thank you for staying true to the cause. Please, next time, because there will be a next time when we call you, please answer us like you answered us today. Big ups to all the comrades down there. I know Shore was supposed to make it up, but he couldn't make it. All of you guys, Deji and all of that, Files, all of you, we really see what you guys are doing, and we are really, really impressed. Thank you so very much.
Thank you so much, Chidi, for having me. It's been a pleasure being here and talking. And sorry, I talk too much. I can go on and on. It's really been a pleasure. Before I just go, I just want to say, I see somebody has put in the website, which is true, www.wemove.nigeria.com. It's amazing. That's where you get the next step, things to be posted out there. Like I said earlier, we've carried that slogan, we move out of this thing. And it's so invigorating. And it's one of the things. Finally, I saw somebody talking about recalling. Recalling is such a tedious process in Nigeria, and the way it is, it's almost like impossible. Not only very expensive, but very impossible because of the things we have. We have the electoral, and this is where we need to also focus on the electoral reform, because what we have right now is that a certain percentage of the registered voters have to be the one to be able to recall. Even if you get signatures, they have to verify them and be sure. And then we are not even sure that our voters register is actually up to there. It's not filled with ghost this thing. So part of the reform, I think, for me, I've said we should have a place whereby it should be a percentage of the people that voted in the person that should be that should be used to recall. But then, hey, it's part of the things that is actually being toyed with to see if we can get something something. Even if we don't get it, but at least shake and rattle them. We'll see how that goes. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you so much, everyone. I do agree with you. It's always good to focus on one particular thing because there's so many issues that need to be tackled. If you do so much, you will dissipate energy and there won't be impact. Sometimes blind focus is actually needed to get things done. Thank you, everyone.
We're waiting,
good morning.
on you guys. Immediately we get the little green light, we will put our boots on the ground here, okay?
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah,
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Aisha. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Abby.
Bye-bye.
I put the link, sir. I put the link to the Telegraph NSAS Canada in the chat.
Yes, okay. So guys,
for your
please
information.
from there. Yeah, from there. Ajoke, we will talk another day and every other person. But please, Ajoke, if you have the link to the petition, that's another one. Maybe I don't know how you copy these things. Do you have the link again so people can? The petition, please, guys, keep signing the petition. All of those your worries is being taken care of. The lobby group, everything is being taken care of. Just let's keep signing. Let's keep sharing those petitions, please.
Do like this.
Good night, everybody.
Good night. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Yeah. Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Abby, I'll try to send you a PM. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Alawali. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Abby, hand the host over to me, please.
Oh, really? I need to give you back. I want carry and go with that.
Make you no carry and go.
Hey, how are you?
I'm fine. Yeah.
Hold on.
Very inspiring meeting
Right
tonight.
click. Make host. I don't give you your tail. Make Erica not come ask me. All right, Doc, check. You should be back as host.
Abby, no, you still have the host.
Oh,
okay, you gave it to Rio.
Ewa. Now my friend now.
Oh, you give
you gave it to Rio.
Ario, you have to give it to Chidi because it's no more in my hands. Can you imagine? Now my friend, I can't give self.
Hey, really? I'll go do that one. Okay.
Are you on the phone or on computer?
Tablet.
Well, on my phone anymore, and then
Please join. Yeah. So close caption.
And then make somebody a host and all that.
Okay. Host controls.
Yeah. Look for Chidi one.
And you know what, Ario, if you can't transfer the host, then just end the meeting. Okay, just end the meeting for everybody.
Mute entry. I'm trying to see. Chat with everyone. No, I don't see the.
Yeah, na Bushman now. Sorry,
I don't see. Okay, maybe because now tablet.
It can be very finicky with tablet. It's okay. Just end the meeting. Good night.
I should end it, Abi.
Yes. Find somewhere. Do end meeting. Don't just leave. Just end it.
Okay. Now take care, everybody. Have a good night.
All right. Bye.